Everybody, good morning from here, and here is the city of Minsk, the capital of Belarus. I'm Andrei, a certified translator and a real estate concierge that accommodates all roles from visa support, almost all roles from visa support up till the residency in your hands, including buying a property or selling your property, depending on the objective. Over the last 3 years, I have been relocating people to Belarus quite successfully, and this is a release about real estate market moves, market trends, let's say, and this is of course my personal opinion, my digest of the local headlines. Shouldn't be taken as a professional consultancy because the latter is a paid service. Let's see what happened lately. Evidently, people keep buying and selling, and one of the most expensive deals of May was a house in the Olympic Park area, which sold for basically $1 million. Plus, it was a 500-meter property sitting on 0.14 hectares of land. Could be a pretty budget solution for his trimming, I guess. Let's see what happens on a more human scale of the market. One of the top sales of May occurred in the Olympic Park. It was a house over 500 meters large. It cost more than $1 million. So speaking about who's paying money for that kind of property, I guess somebody who has $1 million and who has some solid faith in the future of Belarus. Not necessarily a guy I'd like to meet or work for, by the way. By the time this video is released, that is somewhere about tomorrow, we'll be having a sale deal with my EU client. You remember I've been selling an apartment on behalf of my client on a power of attorney since February, basically. Now we've reached the buyer and we've reached the market. The pricing fork that I predicted was almost right. We hit the bottom, and that's when we got the first views that actually were followed by offers. And that's the most important thing. Even more curious is the fact that it was assisted by one of the major agencies that actually screwed up the deal quite a little bit, and there were always wrinkles and wrinkles during the deal, after the deal, and I posted the videos about that. And that's the major agency where I actually got to have my second training as a real estate agent. So I got to get trained in the art afterwards. There are multiple conclusions from that first deal. One of the first ones, do not go after leading or major agency, because in the end you'll be working with people. Just like doctors, there may be a cool clinic, but the guy has to be recommended and come from, let's say, friends and other people who actually got it human tested, so to speak. Second thing is more important than the first thing. When you are buying a property, don't let your mother like it. Let yourself hear all sorts of critical things. Pick an independent, unbiased operator, specialist in this niche, who will be pointing fingers at the things you will not like, and you will summarize the pros and cons of your deal, and you will not be suffering a few years later, because you will be selling a few years later. A few depends on how lucky you are. And the guy who is now canceling his permanent residency was not necessarily super lucky, because his paper efforts were wasted. And we were brushing place up just before it gets sold, because there's a little crack here, there's a little thing here. Oh, what is this thing sticking out of the bathtub? Oh, I did not see that wallpaper hole when we were buying it. Yeah, of course you're sorry you didn't see it, but well, your mother liked it, so it's not necessarily the best way to be looking for an apartment. It's more like a big strategic project, and you don't have to focus just on your current immediate needs, your girlfriend's needs or taste or whatever. The long-term run includes the development of the area, the development of your family, whichever way it may go, and the cancellation of that development. That was just a tiny bit of commercial. Seriously speaking, when you get the views, when you post the ad, you'll get tons of calls from the agents trying their best, or what seemed like not their best, to convince you'll get the best dream deal only through them, and the guys before them were idiots, and some of them may actually promise the real views. So we actually hit a contract with one of them who said that, oh, we know the guys who have the similar request, they have just cocked up their own deal, they have money on hand. Let's do the contract a couple of thousand up so that you get your profit and we get our cut. And although the contract was for 10 days, we tolerated them for 2 weeks. Oh yes, there's another view. Oh, these guys shifted the view ahead. Oh, please let us have a few more days. Guys, that's all stories. You want to buy them, you want to try them. That's all up to you. In my experience, a client goes through several stages of patience. Of course, it's important to know firstly the time frame that we're aiming and the price frame that we're ready to accept, because my guy was not in a hurry and my guy was really looking to buy a replacement property in the EU for the money we're getting, so the price cuts were not exactly his area of focus, let's say. So once we started cutting the price, the views exceeded, and the real buyer actually came up, exhibited interest, and we negotiated a tiny little discount to the original price, because right now the discounts are really minimal. And I'm hoping in some 24 hours the whole thing is going to get concluded, just as you're watching this video. Last but not least, when you are readying the flat to be rented out or to be sold, it's very important to get it cleaned, and I mean a professional cleaner. The guy I'm operating with is kind of nice, diligent and everything, but cleaning is not his best subject, let's say. And we had to bring in a professional cleaner after I'll clean it myself kind of thing, and left, so that I could show the people in and they could feel the apartment without any glitches, wrinkles, smells and stuff like that, especially the kitchen part, which is always a little bit messy. Just a quick recreational fact about the expensive properties next door. If you know the area where I am, it's Victory Square. Nearby is the developing complex called Depot, on the site of a former basically depot, a bus park. And the place is getting another house finished. They claim they've sold out 80% of the house itself. The apartments go at $3,500 per square meter, unrenovated, although these guys are offering renovated options too. And on top of their discounted options, they are offering 120-meter or larger apartments right now, with a total discount of up to $30,000 in light of their 30th anniversary as a company. So you understand that such a handsome birthday gift comes at somebody's generosity. Finding a house versus an apartment is a bit of a challenge. Good options get swept away, and outside Minsk you won't find anything good to look at for $150,000. So that may give some sunnier countries a bit more credit. House purchase season is almost done, so the buyers are not lining up to get any cool property, but agents are claiming that the deals are happening, be that a property for a few $1,000s or a few, basically $100,000. We're still selling my neighbor's house in my village, so if you're interested in getting your solid and cheap ticket to the residency, you are very welcome to get some views and basically get it purchased from the exact owner. A little bit of fun news at some point. The city of Minsk always has summer hot water shutdowns for 2 weeks. These are maintenance works, and they are about to pass basically. The maintenance works will stop for the Independence Day sake, which is the 3rd of July, so we are feeling one day more independent than Americans. And then the whole thing will continue section by section throughout the city of Minsk. As far as I understand, Minsk World guys already got their water back in. Over 1,500 deals occurred in May. We're talking about property deals in Minsk. Some of that statistics will be altered because the cadastre agency, the land office, is uploading them as they're completing in June. And the prices have generally gone up by some 5% over the last 6 months. The most expensive district to shop in is Centralny, which is just across the street over there. It's the Circus area, October Square area, and most of you will know where Central District is, Centralny Rayon. And the least attractive district is Zavodskoy Rayon, the factory district, which just has the answer why in its name. Agencies claim that over 50% of buyers were looking for ready-to-move-in, renovated apartments, and that seems like a new trend. The other new trend is that 2-room apartments were actually more popular than 1-room apartments. May I remind you that we don't do bedrooms here, we just have rooms. The rooms that are different from the kitchen or bathroom make rooms, and some of them may be bathrooms, or all of them may be bathrooms, depending if you're living there yourself or if you're renting it out. If you're renting it out for Airbnb, which is gone, so instead we use Expedia, the number of bedrooms may go up for commercial purpose. Another recent local trend, the deals are occurring with money. About 30% of buyers are bringing in bank money, loan money. And actually, my American last year was selling an apartment to basically a Belarusian person with a bank loan. Bank loans are not destined for the good foreigners because they do not have a solid salary record here. Most of them do not. So if you're coming from abroad, you shouldn't count on one. And some buyers are coming from the province. That's couples that, let's say, decided to give up their provincial properties and sell them off and live decently in the city of Minsk for the rest of their time, let's say. Others move their kids for the university's sake and make an investment where the kid will live as a student without renting out, instead of renting out, and potentially selling or renting it out if the kid moves on to a larger city. It's a trend here, like in anywhere across the world. The province moves into the capital city, which offers the best employment and educational prospects. And the capital guys who have seen too much of capital are moving out of the country. So right now there's kilometers of people dying to move to Western Europe for their own reasons. Let's not blame them. Oh, and I forgot to put the cheapest interest rates at the moment here, just for your understanding about what kind of interest rates we're talking about. Bank loans to buy a property. By the way, over 200 deals in May were properties over $100,000. So again, when I'm posting those reviews of Stalin apartments, most of them got sold. Some of the audience, I'm not sure if their school kids are asking, who would buy these properties? They're overpriced, blah, blah, blah. The overpriced properties that are selling at the market price are not overpriced properties. It's just somebody's being unable to afford them. So let's just say that the market is there, it's still kicking, and it may be a couple more months before some radical changes occur. I know I've been predicting screw up to the market since Russia's elections. I was wrong, as many experts were, and the Russian ruble didn't really plunge, but the mounting issues in the Russian economy are pointing a finger, a focus at the coming lack of stability in the market. So the prices may go badly down because of the buying power of the buyers, and so on and so forth. This will trigger a chain of reactions that we will be talking about later. Speaking of the May record deals, they pop up one after another. So I actually have 3 May record deals. One of them is about Kalvariyskaya 16 sale house. I'll try to put a picture here. It got a 82 meter apartment sold for $280,000. It was apparently a finished apartment, although we don't know for sure. Another property was an unrenovated $357,000 200-meter property somewhere in central Minsk, also an apartment. As I always tell you, the deals are mostly in cash, traditionally, that is, not necessarily exclusively, and the seller wishes to see cash on the table on the deal day. Unfortunately, there is never a moment when I can film all this because people are kind of tense when there's a stack of cash on the table. So if you wish to know the mechanics, how this works in reality, step by step, you may want to opt for my professional consultancy. I'm available for you online, and the payments go online as well, so there's no big deal about one. Last but not least, my Canadian client, my residency guy with a village house, just got his rent cut short. He asked me to look into the matter, a matter of actually offering to buy his apartment, which doesn't seem possible. I rang the real estate agent. She says that the guy who kicks them out, the landlord, needs a place to stay for himself. And it's a shiny place in Kalmark Street, a central street, if you know the area, like the center of the center, where most of the per-night rentals are. He likes the place, he likes the location. The 3rd floor doesn't seem a problem, except the place is now priced $225,000, like $250,000, give or take. And the guy reasons that by the fact that he actually bought it for this much 8 years ago and invested this much 8 years ago or something. And that's just as much as he wants. So a $150,000 quotation is not really a thing for him. So he is out of touch with the market, as they say, and it will take him some time to understand that it's just not bloody selling, because I have a first-hand knowledge that a 60-meter property, like he's looking at, like he's staying at until a week from now, the property like that is roughly $100,000, unrenovated or almost unrenovated, like ready to stay at, but better renovated soon. And for $50,000 you can throw in even an elephant in there, so it's not really a problem to buy one from scratch and renovate it. the experience with my EU client who got his apartment bulldozed and his neighbors complaining about him and getting him fines. Justifies having a good team on the ground, some trustworthy person that communicates between you and the team and puts the assignments before them and checks the day-by-day accomplishments and avoids fines and paperwork. It's very important to have such person on the ground. So let's hope that my Canadian will find his replacement long-term rental, because the law is if you don't live in your property, you have to get your rented apartment. It's nice summer season. It's not really February apartment search. It's June apartment search. It should be okay. And if you are having questions about the recent market trends, about specific things, just do not put them on a public board like I'm looking to buy a cheap house somewhere outside Minsk. This is not a comment I can handle. Please message me privately for any technical things, for any queries, issues, whatever, related to the purchase or sale or something. I'll be operating as an official translator to consult you to get your solution, because I'm not selling houses, I'm selling solutions. I'll be happy to see you for a cup of coffee, a lunch, or a consultancy. It's best to have an online consultancy online before you come. It could save you a ton of money. And this was Andrei from Minsk. I thank you very much for your support and for your feedback. Press the likes, press the dislikes. I'll be in touch. I'll see you in Minsk at some point. Cheers.